Welcome back to the podcast. And welcome back to me. I'm sitting in my office and looking out into the trees. There's much less snow than when I left for a lovely, I wouldn't even call it a visit, like an experience, an initiation, a deep unwinding that I happened upon in Bali. And, the beautiful connections that I made there and will continue to nurture. And I so look forward to going back. Not just the people, it's like, though I definitely made friends that I'll cherish and nurture for a lifetime, there was something so much deeper in that space. It's like this vortex of energy where I was in Ubud. And it's funny, that's not even what I was going to go into. I always notice I start a podcast and then like my mind takes me down a path. And I recognize that that fits into the overall theme of what I'm going to be speaking to. So I just love it. I just love it. And before I dig into this topic, which is all about vision as a companion through healing and shifts and changing. And I just wanted to talk to you about these love affairs that I've been having with my thoughts in the middle of the night. And I notice like how I used to respond to waking up in the middle of the night, which is a very common thing for me, particularly during certain times. And I used to attribute it to stress, solely to, okay, I'm navigating stress or challenge in my life, so my body is just waking me up and I'm ruminating, I'm thinking. But I've come to recognize the experience actually as like these little love affairs that I have, where I'll wake up like with almost like excitement every time. And, there's a curiosity that almost presents itself to me. And some moments when I'm really tired, I'm like, oh my goodness, please just let me go back to sleep. But lately I've been embracing it and recognizing that I will get rest. I will get rest, but first, like, what is this visitor here to share with me? And a couple of nights ago, the visitor had me like go outside and look up at the stars and just sit in awe and wonder. And all of a sudden, these like beautiful northern lights started to go off. And it just reminded me how incredible life is when we're not in resistance to the flow of it, when we simply respond to the invitations. And this is part of what will tie us into this experience of vision. So, one of the things that I was looking for when I went to Bali, when I went on this trip, whether it was conscious or not conscious, I was looking for this experience of purpose. Of like, okay, what is my purpose? What is my mission? And fascinating enough, like I'm somebody who connects often and deeply with vision, which I would define as an experience of life seeking to move in through and as me, creation seeking to move in through and as me. And yet, I somehow felt myself outside of it in that moment, right? Like almost as though I couldn't remember, or I didn't know how to define it. And I felt like there were just things in the way. And what I came to recognize is rather than these things being in the way, I saw that vision and this experience of purpose was really almost like a companion. It was there with me while I was present with a lot of the unraveling the unbecoming that was so needed. It takes space often. We have to kind of come up and out in order to have perspective a lot of times. And that's really what vision offers. I don't look at vision as this far-sighted thing where we look far and then we aim there and then we just go, right? Like that to me is not what the true essence of vision holds. So to me, vision is really this deepening of presence, of being with what is. And so what I remembered was that vision and purpose and like mission and all of those words are really just placeholders for being in an experience of all the way alive, of being in this perpetual creation. And I had this beautiful reminder that showed up near the end of my trip from my dear friend Wes. And I'll share it with you now because it hit me in a really unique way. He's a truth teller to like the nth degree. And I just love him for it. And in human design, he's a reflector. So I don't know if you know much about that, but like basically, he reflects back to you who you are. So whatever you're needing to hear or experience, or if you're not seeing yourself clearly, you just go to Wes and he'll reflect it back to you. And not always in a comfortable way. And I had shared something on social media that was, just about women, like just being. And he sent me this message and he was like, this is a really dangerous message to share because so many women get caught up in this belief that, in order for them to be happy, or I'm not even sure how he would necessarily put it, but like they get caught up in this understanding that, we just need to be, like there's nothing to do, nothing to like move towards, nothing to like move us, nothing to create necessarily, just to be. And he reminded me that we're in a world that is hurting. And there are many people that are suffering. And that's part of what it means to be born into this human body and into this dream of the planet and of our cultures. And and how our sacred gifts are basically wasted. Our vision, our purpose, our mission is wasted if we collapse in on ourselves in like almost like giving up and simply like kind of saying fuck you to everybody and everything else and just like insulating and just being in that. So there's lots of ways to look at, obviously, the understanding of being, but in this case, it was like a disconnect, a dissociation. It's like what it means to remove ourselves from the flow, from of the vision that's being asked to move through us, that we're being asked to participate in. And it just really hit home in a beautiful way. So I appreciate the reflection. I appreciate the reflector nature of that. And what it awoke in me was this deep reminder that it's not a path that we take to get to vision or get to mission or get to purpose. We don't have to be all the way healed. We don't have to have fully self-sourced love. We don't have to have all our shit together in order to be a living expression and transmission of vision. In fact, purpose, vision, mission is a companion, not a destination. So maybe I don't know what I'm doing yet, but I know what I'm being called to in this moment. I know with hand on my heart what's beating in my chest, the words that I'm too afraid to share, the actions that I'm being called to complete, the service that I am being pulled towards, the gifts I'm being asked to offer. I can tune into that in any given moment, and it exists there. I don't need to become anything else. Yeah, and I've noticed the more that I make myself available to this and to other people in my life and in my experience as I encounter out into the world, I take myself out of my home, out of my space. The more that I do that, the more that I get to bump up against other people who are perhaps needing my gifts, who are needing some of the words that are sitting in my heart, just waiting to be shared. Some of the gifts that I have to offer that are just like begging to be engaged with, to help ignite their gifts or to help a remembering to surface within them. And that certainly doesn't happen when I stay in my little office out in a beautiful space in nature, insulating myself from the world. And I'm not, downplaying the benefit of connecting online and, these opportunities for me to share in this way, like a one-way transmission, right? But it's just not the same as me actually putting myself in the line of creation, in the line of vision and purpose, and in that responsive opportunity that my nature so craves. So that is part of my human design. I'm a responder. Like that's everything that you'll see of me where you think, she's in it, she's in her purpose right now. It's because I'm responding to something. I'm responding to a question. I'm responding to a desire within me. I'm responding to something in my outside world. And it just, it lights me right the fuck up. Yeah. And I can't say it's always easy. And so with vision leading, with me remembering that creation is moving through me, I don't need to have all my shit together in order to start. And that's kind of where I was before, where I thought that's what I needed to do, right? I needed to fix myself. I needed to become something. And what I will say is that vision has been pulling me into some very uncomfortable situations. And I believe that is there with intent and with purpose, because it allows me to see where I fit and perhaps where I don't, and where I've got some growth to do, where I have some learning and perhaps unlearning, definitely unlearning to do. I just started reading again The Four Agreements by Don Miguel Ruiz. And the reminders, even just in the first chapter of that book, it touches into everything that I'm speaking to. He speaks about the mitote, the dream of the planet, the dream of the people, and how when we're brought into this world, we're basically given this dream, this set of beliefs, and they're not ours. We're told what to believe. And so the unlearning of those, or the diversion, when we finally go, okay, it's time to choose freedom. It's time to choose from a free place. When that happens, we're butting up against these beliefs that we were given, and it feels uncomfortable and almost unsafe in a way of if I shift this belief or I move towards something that is more liberated in a way, it challenges everything in my experience that has taught me this is the way you need to be, to think, to act in order to belong, in order to receive love, in order to receive resources, in order to be approved of, like all of it. And so part of what vision does when you allow it to lead the way is it brings you to these places of confrontation where what is actually true, what is seeking to emerge through you, that emerging edge of your own personal evolution and the collective evolution. We're not separate. We're all in this together. So I'm not evolving or growing or, I'm hesitant to use any like catchphrases of the self-help movement, because sometimes it's like really like insidious about like there being lack. There's no lack here. But on that leading edge of being in this new expression of vision, this collective vision that's emerging, I'm going to be bumping up against all of these beliefs, this mitote, like the stories, the beliefs of our world. And it's going to feel fucking uncomfortable. And it's my job, my sacred responsibility, my devotional practice to engage with these beliefs in such a way that I honor vision. And I allow vision to walk me into the fire of that, into the fire of my truth, which will challenge this inbuilt vision, this inbuilt belief system, rather. And it's very confronting, but it offers us this beautiful opportunity of growth. That's where it comes from, right? Like that's where the shifts and the changes and the healing actually come from. We can't just pretend these things away. We can't just hide in our rooms and play nice and cover everything up with sugar and spice and everything nice and rainbow and sunshine and flowers and all of the things that I find so beautiful. And yet it misses the mark. If it doesn't hold vision, if it doesn't challenge belief, if it doesn't take us deeper into purpose, then what the fuck are we doing? Like, why would we do that? Why would we stay stuck in this I'm imagining almost like quicksand. You're trying to get out and like avoid getting pulled deeper and deeper into this like pain. And we just keep returning to it. Like we get out and then we're like, oh, turn around, go back in. And it's like challenging us with everything that we have. Those circumstances where you finally get free of it. You leave that relationship that was so obviously toxic, that was so obviously not in your highest and best interest. And then you go back, right? Like you go back to that. Why the fuck do you go back to that? Oh, he's changed. He's healed. He's better. I'm different. We dealt with all of our stuff and now we're going to come back together and everything will be great and honky-dory and we'll have kids and we'll it's just, it's one of those things that we do when we're afraid of confronting the inbuilt belief system. We're afraid of confronting these deeper beliefs that we've internalized of I'm not good enough, or maybe I'm not valuable enough to live into this higher purpose. Nobody else will want me. I need to be quiet. I need to play along with this game. Whatever it is that we were told and we internalized as a belief system that kept us safe and kept us insulated. And isn't it so fascinating that after a certain point, it's not all of the people, our caretakers, who are putting these beliefs inside of us. Like we start to be that, the director of these beliefs. We start to be these jailers of the mitote, the stories, the beliefs of our world. Yeah. And so what I think is really important here is just the understanding that vision, when we can tap into that, when we can tune into vision, and I'll share more on how to do this in future episodes. Like this is just an intro. But when we do that, we have an opportunity to hold vision up, to hold purpose up as the deciding factor. So rather than like, oh my goodness, like, should I be with him? Like, first of all, anytime you ask a question of the mind, you're going to receive a response at the level of mind. It is like mind 101, basically. And the mind exists at the level of the past self. So it only holds information. And I'm talking about, obviously, like the thinking mind. There's the observing mind. There's other aspects of mind we can get into another time. But the thinking mind exists at the level of the past. So everything in that thinking mind only knows experience up until now. It can't see into the future. It can't hold vision. And so we need to hold up vision as the deciding factor. Like that is what we ask. Will this serve vision? Will this serve my purpose? It's a simple yes or no, and that is it, right? Not, oh, but like maybe I can cause this to like fit if I just shift or change, or like I make it fit. Like, no. Vision is only going to see us through healing and evolution, being on that evolutionary edge, if we're willing to hold it up and to trust it. And that can be so fucking scary, right? Because again, it confronts this level of belief that is so ingrained, so indoctrinated in our system, like it lives in our nervous system. And so it can feel unsafe, which is why it's so helpful to connect with other people who are moving through it and can help you hold that vision, right? Somebody who is not, how would I put this? Who would not benefit you staying the same, like benefit from you staying the same or staying committed to your old beliefs. If there's somebody in your life who would benefit from you staying in your old belief systems, they are not the ones to help you with vision. Because at some level, they have a stake in you staying stuck. It's not going to work. So you need to find people who will hold you to a higher standard of vision and purpose, which is why, again, I'm so grateful to people in my life and Wes reflecting that back to me. You know, it would have been really easy for me to be like, oh, he doesn't know what he's talking about, or that's not what I meant, but there's certain people in my life when they share something, I don't immediately jump to like resistance. I go, oh, okay, they're seeing something I didn't see. What is that? I move into curiosity immediately now. I used to be so confronted by it. And I'm sure there's still a part of me that is, but like in the confrontation, that word is not rolling off of my tongue. Confrontation. Okay, the reason why it's not rolling off my tongue is oftentimes I use it. This episode's marked explicit, so I can say whatever I want here. So, but I'll often like say confrontation, and it's like, it kind of gives it that extra little edge of making it extra shitty. Man, the things I reveal when I'm talking on this podcast. I can't wait until you get to hear Lauren and I speak together, because it gets even more edgy and raw. Yeah. So when those those confrontations show up, and I feel confronted, right? Oftentimes I will want to run and hide, but it's neat to see how much I've shifted, because I see those now as portals, as doorways in, as opportunities for growth and evolution, and for like really being in my true skeptical experience of questioning everything, including my own inbuilt beliefs. So yeah, so much in here. There's so much in here, and I could just talk on this for hours. So I'm not going to get into how to find vision in this particular episode. But what I really want to leave you with is this knowing that you don't need to be healed in order to find vision or mission. And in fact, they are the very things that you need to tune into in order to determine the steps, right? In order to light the path forward. So don't turn away from it. Don't hide yourself. Allow yourself to be seen and met, and to find all of the ways where you are perhaps blocking vision and purpose by, tuning in and getting curious. And I can't wait to talk to you more about this and offer some potential practices to share. All right, that's it for today, for this episode. Sending you so much love and many blessings.